Welcome to the first episode of what I'm going to call This Week, Next Week. So I'm going to tell you what I did this week. We're going to do a little rundown, and I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do next week. And then next week, we'll do it all again. So I saw this tweet recently from Matt Swanson, friend of the show. He's a friend of mine, so surely he's a friend of the show. It says, the amount of over-intellectualizing in the Indie Hacker podcast world is extremely triggering. I love listening and following, but the amount of hemming and hawing and no action is insane. I'm guilty of the same thing. Hopeful this inspires some movement. And I used to have one of these Indie Hacker podcasts and feel like I was pretty guilty of that, of just hemming and hawing and not actually taking action. And so here we are. The response to this that I thought was most interesting was, would be so much more interested in listening to an Indie Hacker pod where the format was one half what I did last week, one half what I'm doing this week. And I was like, that's a great idea. I should do that. I should do that as a solo. So I'm no longer doing the Indie Hacker podcast that I was doing, but I do like this idea of like what I did this week and what I'm going to do next week. So it's called This Week, Next Week because I'm going to release these on Friday. I'll put them all on YouTube. If I can figure out a way to auto create a podcast from a YouTube feed, I'll set up a podcast too. But I don't know how to do that right now. So leave a comment if you know how to do that. So the plan here is I'm going to record a video every Friday afternoon, tell you what I got done this week, and then tell you what I'm going to do next week, next week. It's going to be kind of low effort in that this is going to be basically a stream of consciousness. This is not going to be a high effort YouTube video. So I will edit these down a little bit, but it's basically going to be like a weekly log. So that's kind of what you can expect here. So starting off, who am I? My name is Aaron Francis. I work at a company called PlanetScale. We are very good. Check us out. It's a MySQL platform. So if you have a MySQL database, this is where it should live. I work here, and I also have several projects on the side that I try to keep pushing forward as I can. And that's what this is going to serve. That's the purpose this podcast or vlog or whatever is going to serve, is I'm going to talk a lot about those projects. So let's talk about what I did this week. This week, I released 2 videos on the PlanetScale channel. So this is a lot of what my job is at PlanetScale right now, is researching and recording. And I don't have to edit very much anymore because we have a great editor, but researching and recording and managing this YouTube channel. And it's been a blast. I think we've got 17.3 thousand subscribers. I think when I started releasing videos, we had 1,000 or 2,000 subscribers, and that was like 3 or 4 months ago. And so this is growing incredibly quickly. We have pretty lofty goals here. I won't tell you exactly what they are, but hopefully at some point back here, you will see a silver YouTube play button. Hopefully, you will see 2 of them within the next year, but at the very least 1. So we're marching towards as many subscribers as we can get. These 2 videos did pretty well. So these are the latest 2. I love my database GUI and using MySQL to stop freeloaders. This is basically just like a generated columns video with kind of a clever spin on it. These 2 have done much better than the ones before it. And we're trying something new next week. I think I tweeted about this. We're trying something new next week where it's going to be a much longer form video. And let's see, next week, we're trying something different on the PlanetScale channel. Past several videos have been short, did you know style videos. So that's these guys right here. These short, like 8 minutes, 5 minutes, 5 minutes. And they've done okay. They just haven't been great. And so next week, instead of releasing 2 that are kind of on the shorter side, we're going to release 1 that's on the super long side. I think it's going to end up being 25 or 30 minutes long. And so this week I released these 2, and I think I've recorded like half of the super long video. Over a couple days, I got, I think, 20 minutes of quality footage so far. So that half is off with the editor. I'm recording the second half, and next week we'll publish a much, much longer video on functional indexes. And so the experiment here is, will that watch time will that watch time be super high and therefore push out to the algorithm, or have the algorithm push it out even further? So that's the experiment. Check back next week to see if it worked. Another thing that I did this week, I started playing with Remotion. So Remotion is a video editor, I guess, or it's a package. It's a JavaScript library that lets you create videos using React. I don't know the first thing about React. I've never used React. I don't particularly like it because I find it complicated and aesthetically unpleasing. And that hasn't changed even after I've done this. But hopefully on the video that you're actually watching, you're seeing an overlay that kind of looks like this, and that's where it came from. I made it in Remotion. I stayed up way too late last night trying to get this done. And it's one of those things where, like, you have an end goal in mind and you really, really want to see this thing come to fruition. And so you just push past every barrier. That's what I did with this. And it was so fun. I haven't done that in a very long time, where like you're kind of on a tear. And so I've never used React, but I figured it out. I've never used Remotion, but I figured it out. And I got this thing working. So this renders a transparent background, and then I take it over into ScreenFlow and just kind of drop it on top of the video. And it was a lot of fun. It reminded me of playing video games when I was a kid, or programming when I was a kid, when like you're not really interested in the programming, you're interested in the thing that you're trying to build. And that's what gives you so much energy and momentum. So I stayed up really late working on this, and it was really fun. And I will see how I use Remotion going forward. But I'm excited about it. So figured that out. Hopefully that will help streamline this channel. Like I said, this channel, I'm not going to do a lot of editing. I will use Dave Setia's Recut. So you can run a video through Recut and it'll just chop out all the silences automatically. And so I'll probably use Dave's Recut to edit these, throw the overlay on top, run it through Flowtone, and then that'll probably be the video. So you can expect these every Friday afternoon. I'll record them on Friday afternoons, release them on Friday afternoons. That's the whole thing. We're going to go super fast here. Speaking of Flowtone, so this week, my friend Boris and I released Flowtone out of beta. Flowtone is a desktop application where you can drop video or audio onto the app, and it will split the audio out if it's video, and it normalizes, like it enhances the speech, it removes background sounds, it removes pops and clicks from your mouth. This video right here has been run through it. I run all of my videos through Flowtone. So we released this, which in this case just meant like updating some stuff on the website, sending an email. I still need to update the FAQ, the frequently asked questions on here, because there is like a usage component. So it includes 600 minutes of processing. There's a usage component where you have to pay more for more minutes, and I need to update the website for that. So hopefully by next week, see, this is the whole point. Hopefully by next week that is done and I can say I did that. So that has been released. And what else for this week? I think that's most of it for this week. I am not going to go over everything that I do at work, because a lot of that is not public and or interesting, but I will talk about all the videos. That I release and am in the process of recording. So let's move on to next week. Next week, I got to finish that super long Planet Scale video. If I don't finish it today or this weekend, sometimes I work on the weekend just because it's quiet around the house and it's easier to record. I would also like to, that's interesting. Should I say like to or say that I'm going to? That's really interesting, isn't it? I should probably say that I'm going to do something instead of saying I would like to. Like to feels wishy-washy, doesn't it? Yeah, let's say that I'm going to do this thing. So next week I will release a video on my personal channel. So I have a personal YouTube channel where I mainly talk about PHP, and I will record and release a video on that channel. It's going to be about end-to-end type safety in PHP. So you can have types in PHP, pass the types out, and have types in TypeScript on the front end. So I'll record and release that video on that channel. So if you're not subscribed to that channel, please go subscribe over there. That would be amazing. And then I have two things that I'm working on for screencasting.com. So I have this course, screencasting.com, where you can learn how to create screencasts. And next week, I'm giving a webinar to Daniel Vassallo's Small Bets community. I think that's smallbets.co. There you go. So I'm giving a 1-hour webinar next week to them, basically like a high-level overview of how to record good screencasts, with the hope that some of them are like, yeah, this guy is smart. I'll go buy the full course. That would be awesome. So I have that next week. And then I've got 2 screencaster spotlights that I need to release. So the screencaster spotlight is, I reached out to several screencasters and said, hey, I want like videos of your setup and your camera and mic and your room, and I want to put them on screencasting.com so people can see other setups besides just mine. Because like I feel like mine is good, but it's just one person's setup, right? And so I want to be able to show off the other options. And so I need to release one of those next week. And all that involves is like getting the email. I moved email providers because ActiveCampaign sucks. So I moved over to Bento, which is run by a friend of mine, Jesse. So I moved over to Bento, and I've got all the lists over there. And so I just need to figure out, all right, how am I gonna style these emails and get that sent out and put on the website. So I think that's it. I think that's the first episode of This Week, Next Week. Hopefully these will get better as we go, as I get more comfortable with it. I think it will be fun. I think it's going to be like a good accountability thing for me to know every Friday I'm going to have to like publicly proclaim if I did or didn't do the things that I said I was going to do. So hopefully this makes Matt Swanson happy, which is one of my goals in life. Yeah, if you have any questions, leave them in the comments. If you know how to create a podcast out of a YouTube feed, let me know. This channel won't only be this vlog style stuff, but it's a lot of the behind the scenes stuff. So I would like to create a podcast out of it somehow. So yeah, you can find me on Twitter at Aaron D. Francis, or my website, which needs updating, but I'm not committing to that for next week. But you can find that at aaronfrancis.com, and I'll talk to you next Friday. See ya.